In politics, it is usually very useful to be able to recognize signs. And trust me, there are more than enough signs in politics to tell you what is coming and also to tell you what is really happening. Because really, politics is the art of deception when you think about it. Politicians deceive us many times. Politicians don't want us to see the reality. They prefer to feed us with the hope. Many times false hope. Bottom line, politics is deception. And therefore, you can never maneuver around it. You can never analyze it. You can never understand it unless you're able to see the signs. Now, for most of this year, people have been seeing the signs of a handshake. A handshake between Raila Odinga and William Samoei Ruto. They've been seeing that sign. I have not seen it, but many have seen it. Have we had a handshake yet? Are there any signs of a handshake? Maybe I missed the sign. I'm not perfect. Indeed, signs are easy to miss. Now, currently, there is a very disturbing sign I have noted, which I want to share with you so that we console each other about what is coming. It's nice to kid around and laugh. Laughter is the best medicine. But this is serious. It's very serious. What sign is this that I've noted? There is an emerging sign, very aggressive, to bash Raila Odinga. Actually, there have been many signs. It started with this thing of making Kenyans believe that Raila Odinga is too old. Ni mzee sana. He's almost senile. Well, the reality is that Raila Odinga is 78 years old. In a few months, he will be 79 years old. But if you're to believe half of the stuff that has been pushed in our direction, you would be sure that Raila Odinga is going to be 100 years very soon. Forget that the man visits a gym regularly. He does workouts regularly. Forget all that. You're supposed to focus on the propaganda that is being pushed in your direction. Now stay with me. In a moment I will tell you the very sad, devastating place you are going. You know, signs come before something happens. Many times before something very bad happens. Okay? So stay with me. I will reveal that in a minute. Now please allow me to move quickly. So let me jump to the latest sign. Manufactured sign. And that sign can be summarized in the following words. There are so many people fleeing the ODM party. They are running away from Raila Odinga. There are so many, and the numbers are growing every day. Therefore, there is something wrong with ODM. There is something very wrong with Raila Odinga. He is not what you think he is. This consistent, persistent attack on Raila Odinga came out in a recent statement from somebody who left the party a long time ago. And what really attracted my attention were his words. What? You know, some of these things are so obvious. So very obvious. We should not miss them. So what did this politician say? Let me quote him verbatim. And I quote, "It is time this stone-throwing, violence and political intolerance stopped. Let me repeat that. It is time this stone throwing, violence and political intolerance stopped. Now, think about it. Who likes saying that? Who has said that several times over the last few months? It is a prominent Kenyan politician. Indeed, I wish I could hold a competition and give out a big prize, because I have a feeling many people will not get it. Well, let me give you the answer. William Samoei Ruto. And so I ask myself, when these people are being given instructions and they're taking notes, do they bother to take the words and change them, put them in their own words? Do they even bother to try and check out something called a thesaurus, very similar to a dictionary, and find other words which mean the same thing, so that they're able to hide much more effectively where these words full of venom are coming from? Aye, seriously? Well, that is what is happening. And I'm sure you've heard other similar stories about ODM and Raila Odinga. Oh, he's a dictator. Oh, there's no freedom within ODM. Oh, people are not allowed to think for themselves, etc., etc. Now, let me simplify this so that we all see it very clearly. What am I simplifying? I am simplifying the imagined problem here. There is no problem. It is just imagined. And let us start with facts that we all agree. A man called Raila Odinga is extremely influential in Kenya. He influences millions of Kenyans. Is that correct? Yes, it is. Now, how does he do it? To influence people, there is no magic, as I've said on this channel many times. All you do is something very simple. You look for a big wave and you ride with it. Now, currently Raila has seen a very big wave called the rising cost of living. And what has he done? He has jumped on that wave and is riding with it. And virtually the whole of Kenya is behind him, including the controversial Mount Kenya. Yeah. It is really that simple. Yeah, although it is not simple. If you know what I mean. This is what Raila Odinga has done all his political life. In other words, Raila Odinga feels the pulse of the nation, feels what people are feeling, and then he jumps on that wave. And then other jealous politicians standing on the wings look at Raila and they envy him. They feel jealous. They start saying, Mganga, Mchawi, how come this guy is so popular? I don't understand, etc., etc. But today, in case you didn't know, you have known the secret. And so, please let us follow carefully. There is a very major political revelation here. And so, these people who are saying Raila Odinga is too rigid, Raila Odinga is a dictator, Raila Odinga does not listen to other opinions, etc., etc. What are they really saying? They are saying that Raila Odinga is sticking too closely to what the people want and the direction in which the people want the country to go. That is the problem. What they want is for Raila to be flexible. The people want this, for instance, cost of living. No, don't focus on that. Focus on electoral fraud. This cost of living, pretend but leave it like number 3, number 4 agenda. Okay? That is what they want. Now, I'm sure by now you realize, the minute Raila does that, what they want, he will lose his huge following. Okay? simple common sense. And I hope you also realize that what these politicians want, including his main opponent, William Ruto, is for Raila Odinga to be more like other politicians. Yeah, you go and make careless statements. You go and you say the people of Kenya want this, when deep in your heart you know, in your knowing you know, that is not what the people of Kenya want. For instance, you're going to tell people the people of Kenya are tired with this story about the last elections. They're tired about these stories about cost of living. What they want are practical solutions on how to improve their lives, okay? Which we in UDA have. Yeah. Now, is it true that people are tired of this story of the cost of living? They don't want it to be discussed. They want a situation where they can be allowed to go back to work. I'm wondering which work. Is that true? Of course not. And you will now understand why one of the other signs, which I've not spoken about but I just want to mention, is this push to have Raila retire from politics. Yeah, we have been told that Raila should start naming a successor. And that successor must be Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. Okay? I think now you understand the politics going on. I think now you clearly see the signs which are there for you to see if you simply pay just a little attention. So what is the objective? Or rather, this sign is telling us about which bad thing is coming. What are we being prepared for by the UDA, Kenya Kwanza, political pirates? What are they preparing us for? Well, I think some of you have already seen what is about to happen. There are also signs in that direction of where they are going with this. Yeah, what is about to happen. And it is the following. William Samoei Ruto's administration is about to find a way out of the agreements, the things they've already agreed to. Yeah, what they've agreed to do, including opening the server, making amendments to the law, which would lead to a better Kenya, in my opinion. They're about to get out of all those things by deliberately causing the bipartisan manenos to come crashing down. And they're going to have the perfect excuse, or so they think, or so they believe. And that excuse is that it is not them who walked away. It is Raila Odinga who walked away. Now, if you've been following the news, about 2-3 days ago, Raila Odinga said, if in the final agreement there is nothing convincing about the government's pledge to reduce the cost of living, Azimio are not signing. They're not signing anything. I think you've heard that. I believe you've also heard, despite the Kenya Kwanza side in the talks agreeing mchana very clearly, very decisively, that there's going to be strict fidelity to political parties. They're going to be respected. Democracy is going to be respected. And it is all going to start with the minority whip, Sabina Chege, being removed in parliament, so that Azimio can put in their preferred candidate. Because Sabina Chege, yes, was put there by Azimio, but she has now crossed the floor. She is government damu. She is William Samoei Ruto damu. I believe you've heard that despite Kenya Kwanza agreeing, yes, Sabina Chege is going to be removed, they have reneged. They've gone back on their word. And the way they have done it is by dilly-dallying, bringing up excuses, And then finally a court order came out. Okay, Sabina Chege is going to remain as the minority whip. Although she's not on the minority side, she is with the government. But she's going to be representing Azimio, yeah, on paper in parliament. But she's with William Samoei Ruto. You ulisikia wapi? Okay, so that one, already the Azimio side has said, no, what's wrong? We agreed on this. What is not happening? Bila kizungu mingi, William Samoei Ruto and his chaps are going to collapse this thing that has wasted people's time over the last 3 months, yeah, almost 4 months, discussing, negotiating, listening to testimonies, people submitting their stuff. All that is going to be thrown into the trash can, yeah, by collapsing this thing. Kwani Raila atafanya nini? If we collapse this thing, what will they do? What can they do to state machinery? We're the government. What can they do? That is the Kenya Kwanza thinking. And of course, it is not going to end well. Let me just leave it at that. But I can give you a hint. The condition of the ordinary Kenyan. What the ordinary Kenyan is going through. Something, at some point, something will have to give. Now, ebu nikuulize, ile kitabu ya Zakayo uko nayo? Umepata? Umesoma? Umesikiliza? Because it is also an audio book. A YouTube audio book. Have you listened to it? And the crazy, highly sensitive revelations in it? Well, if not, this is just a reminder. You can see details on your screens. For only $24.55 US, or Kenya shillings 2,455, you can get all this very valuable information. I highly recommend it. Now, there's just something I want to whisper to you. In case you need this book and you don't quite have enough cash and your budget is tight, as it is for many Kenyans, the first 20 people who drop me an email at youmissedthis@gmail.com, youmissedthis@gmail.com, you can see it on your screens, that email address, I will be able to negotiate with them a very special price, because I believe this material is important. Only for the next few hours. Don't tell too many people about it. Yeah, that's your reward for coming this far in this video. Go for it. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.